While I was driving, I kept hearing, "This is the growth edge. This is the growth edge." And another thing that I was hearing was, "You asked for this," or like, "You prayed for this." And so birds could be significant. I'm seeing two birds right now. They're like, I think they're playing, or like they're like chasing each other around. They're flying together. That's really cute. Trees could be significant, like wasps, or I forgot what those bugs are called, but they're kind of like a wasp. Starts with a J. That could be significant. Nature could be significant. Swimming. This is the growth edge. This is what you asked for. This is what you prayed for. And maybe it doesn't look like what you thought, and you're kind of freaking the fuck out because you're like, what the fuck? You're like, I didn't ask for this. I didn't pray for this. Did I pray for this? There's this feeling right now of true uncertainty, and it's causing such friction. It's causing so much friction inside of you that you may feel really frustrated, really upset. You might notice a lot of emotions coming up at this time, or you might feel like you don't feel like yourself, like you don't feel normal. And there's this feeling that's kind of like, why am I feeling like this? That might be a question that you have. You might be asking yourself, where am I going? What am I doing? Why does this not feel like certainty? Okay. And I'm coming back to the certainty and the uncertainty because I think that so many of us are taught to associate certainty with security in our lives. And so when we feel uncertain, we feel insecure, and it creates this cycle or this pattern of doubt, of fear, of confusion. And if you're an overthinker, this is the overthinking. This is the overanalyzing things. This is trying to figure something out, trying to out logic a situation, right? Like trying to be so mentally certain where there is no certainty to have mentally. And if this is something that you're experiencing in your emotional body, this could feel like that frustration. This could feel like sadness kind of passing through you. You might be feeling like there's like a cloud over you at this time. You might be feeling like uncharacteristically sad. Trigger warning, if you are someone who like has depression, or you go through depressive states or episodes, that might be something that's coming up for you. And what's interesting is I'm getting this feeling of like this experience and these emotions and these thoughts are not meant to be figured out. You're not meant to figure it out. You're not meant to fight it. You're not meant to resist it. And I think that when you are someone who has maybe done quite a bit of healing work on yourself, like you've worked on yourself a lot, you've become very self-aware and very conscious, you've worked through your shadow, you've worked through trauma, you might be someone who, has gone to therapy, you might be someone who's done like EFT tapping could be significant, somatic therapy could be significant, like a lot of journaling. You could be someone who like reflects a lot, right? And so I think you have a high level of self-awareness. You're very conscious, and you're aware on an energetic and spiritual level that this experience is showing you something. This experience has purpose, and yet your mind is fighting your inner knowing. Your logic may be resisting your intuitive knowing, and this intuitive knowing is that you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You're not supposed to be anywhere else, because if you were, that's where you'd be. Your intuitive knowing is that everything is working out for your highest good. Your intuitive knowing is that any friction and any challenges that you're experiencing are teaching you and refining you to some degree, to some extent. Your intuitive knowing is that you are actually readying yourself and opening yourself up to a new level of yourself that you have yet to experience. And yet The logic, the mind wants to fight this. Like, your mind wants to just know. You want to have the answers. You want to have everything kind of like perfectly mapped out. You could be someone who has a little bit of a hard time surrendering and letting go of control in your own life. And this time feels so frustrating because it's not about figuring it out. It's not about having a 12-step plan. It's not about perfecting anything. This time is meant to be messy and confusing and somewhat illogical. This time is meant to show you that the gap that you feel, which is a bit of an illusion, I think, the gap or the separation that you feel between the old life and the new life, between the old way of being and the new way of being, which is your present experience, right? That is a period of time where it's almost like it's this bridge that you're meant to just stand on. And as you're standing on this bridge, you're watching the water rushing below you, and you're seeing the process of everything that needs to be shifted, everything that needs to come up, everything that needs you to just be with it, if that makes sense. It's kind of like, instead of trying to figure it all out and instead of trying to control everything, it's like, let yourself just sit in it. Let yourself sit in the discomfort of the unknown. Let yourself meet the emotions as they come to you. Stop trying to run away from them. Stop trying to distract yourself from them. Stop trying to overanalyze them. Just let them exist. Let the feelings exist. Let the thoughts exist. Because the thing is, they're not controlling you. They don't have power over you. You're meant to experience it. You're meant to open yourself up to the experience of not knowing. You're meant to surrender. And it's so interesting too, because I get this feeling of like that same message around having certainty equaling security. Is that a word? Equaling? Security equals certainty, or certainty equals security. There's this feeling of like, if you're someone who has historically kind of like set yourself up to where like you anticipate things so that you don't get disappointed, you don't get hurt, or if you're someone that feels like you wait for the other shoe to drop, like there is this feeling and there is this message around understanding that this is not that time anymore, that the shoe is not going to drop, that the worst is not going to happen, and that you actually have to allow yourself that really like uncomfortable sensation of just being in the middle of something and like not trying to get to the other side by force, if that makes sense, or not trying to associate the past with the present, not trying to bring the past forward into the present moment and make sense of this time for yourself so that you can feel supposedly more certain or supposedly more secure. If that's where you're at right now, this is a sign for you to not only let go, not only trust your own process, but to understand that there's not really more that you're meant to be doing. There's not really more that you're meant to be doing. I feel like you're doing all that you can. You're showing up the best way you can. And maybe you don't feel like that. Maybe you're comparing yourself. Maybe you're being hard on yourself. And I feel like this is a message from your guides to stop. To stop being so hard on yourself. To stop feeling like you have to figure it out. Because maybe that's not what this time is about. Maybe that's not what this situation is here for. Maybe this is just for you to exist in it. Maybe it's just for you to let the feelings come and go. Maybe it's just for you to find trust and patience and maybe even a feeling of lightness amidst the heaviness, amidst the burden. And it's definitely easier said than done. But be mindful of how you choose to walk through this period of your life. And remember that some part of you prayed for all the things you have right now. So don't you think that where you're going next is what you planted the seeds for back then.